I'd like you to explain some of the proven benefits of meditation.
There's a wealth of research out there about proven benefits of meditation. They've noticed significant lowering of stress and anxieties by calming the nervous system, and lowering reactivity can help with memory, decision making.
Just sit there for 5 minutes a day and you can have compound benefits. Hello and welcome to another episode of Everyday Energy, the podcast we talk all about health and wellness and give you tips and tricks to optimize your mental and physical well-being. Today I've got a very special guest. I'm joined by Mira. Hello Mira, how you doing?
Hi, Ken. Very well, thank you.
That's
How are
good.
you? Yeah.
So Mira is one of my mum's best friends and I've known her since I was very young, and she actually lives in Australia, Melbourne right now. What do you do in Australia, Mira, at the moment?
Thanks for having me, Kian. It's a pleasure to be here, and I hope I can be of some help to your listeners today. I'm in Melbourne, living in Melbourne, and I completed a diploma in psychology in 2020, and several courses on grief and trauma counseling before providing counseling support to patients impacted by upper gastrointestinal cancers. So they're the
Yeah.
cancers that impact the pancreas, bile duct, esophagus, stomach, and liver. So they're usually pretty aggressive, diagnosed in stage 4. And after about 5 years, I felt something else was needed. So I completed an advanced course in guiding and teaching mindfulness and meditation at the Australian Centre of Meditation and Mindfulness based here in Melbourne.
Very nice.
Yeah, I was particularly interested in guiding meditations due to the conversations I was having in that
Yeah.
five-year period with patients as well as family members, sometimes unfortunately with bereaved individuals as well. So I felt
Yeah.
it was something I could do that could help as a complementary therapy to support their emotional well-being. But also along the way, it has equally been beneficial for myself and my own self-care and well-being.
That's amazing. So today we're going to be talking all about meditation and mindfulness, and we're going to go quite deep and dive into some of the pitfalls you may come across when you start it, just explaining it a little bit about what it is and the benefits of mindfulness and meditation. Mira, now a lot of people might not know what the difference between both are. Would you be able to explain the difference between mindfulness and meditation, please?
Yeah, sure. So mindfulness is the practice of being fully present and aware of this current moment without judgment. So it
Yeah.
involves paying attention to your thoughts, feelings, surroundings with a sense of curiosity and a compassionate approach and acceptance. Whereas meditation it's almost like the vehicle that gets you to be mindful. It's a focused practice or technique that's aimed at training the mind, and quite often involving deep breathing or concentration or just simply observation of thoughts in order to achieve mental clarity, calmness, relaxation. So there are different types of meditation techniques that serve different purposes based on what an individual wants to practice. And mindfulness is something that can be part of the meditation, but it's also something that we can do in our day-to-day lives and daily activities. So you can be very mindful doing a very mundane job like unloading the dishwasher
Yeah.
or having a shower.
Hmm.
You have cultures like the Japanese that have bathing rituals, and it's such a mindful activity, this process of bathing, and the amount of care and attention and compassion that goes towards yourself. It's really, really quite beautiful. So
Yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting because I went quite a long time not really understanding the difference. But so I'll kind of reiterate it. So meditation is the vehicle and the form you can use to
to be mindful.
achieve peace and calmness and relaxation. And then mindfulness is more the state of mind you're in to be more present and aware while you're doing daily things in life.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
essentially.
nice. That's good to know. Because when I meditate, I say I'm doing mindfulness, but I guess I'm doing meditation, but being mindful while I'm meditating.
Correct. That's
Okay,
exactly
nice.
right. So you can be mindful in different ways. Meditation is one of the ways in which you can practice mindfulness.
Okay, perfect.
grounding yourself, being aware of your five senses, breathing, they're all ways in which you can be mindful.
Nice. Thank you for sharing that. I had another question about the breathing side of things. So for a long time, I've always breathed through my nose and out my nose, and I thought that's the kind of the best way to do it. What for some people who can't breathe through their nose all the time or think that mouth breathing better during meditation, have you got any advice around that and what kind of is best for certain people?
I think breathing, now with breath work, there is so much literature out there about, what how breathing works, and there's a lot of scientific research that's done into it. And basically when you are breathing, it directly influences the autonomic nervous system, the NS nervous system, and you can have slow nasal extended exhalation type breathing, and that activates the parasympathetic system, so the vagal
Yeah.
system, and that results in prompting calmness, giving a sense of safety to you, emotional regulation. And then the converse of that is the fast or forceful breathing, which is stronger and it increases the sympathetic arousal. And
Okay.
that prompts alertness, energy, mobilization. So it just depends, what style of breathing that you use. You have in meditation, when you first start learning, you may be guided by the teacher to the more diaphragm, abdominal breathing, so that
Mm-hmm.
you're breathing using expanding the diaphragm and belly rather than the chest. So, and that's quite helpful for stress reduction, anxiety, this state like panic states, emotional regulation. It's all helpful for that.
Yeah.
And it's mostly a safe practice for everyone and
Yeah.
taught usually as the first intervention
Mm-hmm.
in breathing. So it's like beginner meditation type
Yeah.
breathing. You can then progress on to other types like coherent, like resonance breathing, which is sort of the 5 to 6 breaths per minute. And that
Okay.
can be guided by individuals who may be suffering from chronic stress or post-traumatic stress disorder. And that's more sort of the slow rhythmic breathing that synchronizes the heart rate and the breath. So that's, again, in therapy, you would be covering a lot of breathing techniques that involve that. So you will have heard of box breathing as well.
Yeah, definitely. That's super powerful. I use that a lot.
That's it. So that equal inhale, hold, exhale, hold. Again, it can help with acute stress. It can help
Yeah.
with focus and concentration. So it is a very powerful technique.
Can
Again,
I add can I add something quickly? So for people who are listening right now, and maybe if you're in a safe space and you're not driving and you're sitting down just listening to this, we'll do one example of box breathing. I'll run you through it so you get an idea. So if you're anxious or stressed throughout the day and you're getting quite overwhelmed, I want you to sit down, close your eyes, picture a box. I want you to take a deep breath for 4 seconds, hold it for 4 seconds, and then exhale for 4 seconds, and then hold it for 4 seconds. So the idea of that is just to remind yourself that you're in control of your heart rate and that stress can be managed and you don't need to let it overrun your system and overrun your body. So you do that 3 or 4 rounds, even 5 rounds, and just do it until you're a lot calmer. And when you open your eyes, you'll realize actually I'm a lot more present, and yeah, it'll help you out in situations. So yeah, thank you for sharing that. Sorry, I just wanted to add that.
no, that's great. That's exactly right with the box breathing. And again, another one for general well-being is the slow nasal breathing. So just
Yeah,
what you said at the start, just breathing through your nose, but at a slow pace, and that's really good for daily life practice. Just bringing your awareness to your breath, observing it, and then seeing if you can just slow that nasal in and out, and see
yeah,
if you can keep that at a slow, comfortable pace.
yeah. I read a book called Breathe by James Nestor. Have you read it before?
I've heard of it. I haven't read it.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite books. I highly recommend. And he said they did a lot of research about the best optimum time to be breathing in and out. It's around 5.5 seconds
Yeah.
for that inhale and exhale for all your systems to run efficiently and your body to be really healthy for longevity. So when you're doing your breathing, if you're doing your slow breathing, you don't have to count, but if you roughly do about 5.5 seconds, I think it can improve the meditation as well, because I found that it helped me a lot.
Yeah.
And I know the benefits of meditation. It's helped me so much in my life, and I'm sure it's helped you so much. And when people ask me, "Oh, what did you?" Because a lot of things have changed in my life. When they ask me, "What's the one thing you've changed? What's the one thing you do?" It is been meditating consistently for 3 years, and I'd like you to explain some of the proven benefits of meditation, so people listening to this can get an idea of how it can actually help them if they are consistent with a practice like meditation.
Okay, so there's like a wealth of research out there about proven benefits of meditation and mindfulness. There's still ongoing studies. And again, some of them are very targeted at specific meditation types. So for example, sound meditation, there's a big surge of the chimes and the impact of the singing bowls.
Yeah.
So there are more and more studies now comparing a control group versus groups that use these methods of meditating. And some of the proven benefits are that they've noticed significant lowering of stress and anxiety. So again, by calming the nervous system and lowering reactivity. And, you can find that through certain practices, like, for example, visualization practices.
Yeah.
Imagining your beautiful, serene, calm space. Your body's already sort of responding to that.
Hmm.
So there's reduction of stress. There's an improvement of emotional regulation. So again, helping people respond rather than react. It can certainly start to, the more you practice meditation, you'll notice those changes as well. It enhances focus and concentration, clarity. So supporting attention can help with memory, decision making. Again, the breath focused and energizing practices, again, yogic breath, all those practices aid with that and help
Yeah.
with clearing some of that mental chatter. We have a lot of self talk going on. We have a lot of things buzzing around in the mouth, in the mind. And
Yeah.
one of the things that helps with that concentration can be a specific type of meditation that you might get into. Mantra meditation is very powerful as well. When you
Yeah.
are chanting or repeatedly using a phrase, your mind is just focused on that. So helps with that concentration. Also helps to build with self-awareness. So there are a lot of inquiry type meditations, insight meditations, which make you question, who am I? Or pose some sort of question that you seek an answer to. And that sort of helps with learning a bit more about yourself and, who you
Yeah.
are. Helps with cultivating compassion. Some of the metta meditations, loving kindness meditations, it's about spreading that compassionate feeling, but
Hmm.
also loving yourself and being kind to yourself and self-compassion, which is so key as well. It's so important to have that as well. Supports mental health, resilience. Certainly there's a whole plethora of information in terms of where it's used clinically and seen to have benefits on, various symptoms of seen in cancer and other illnesses. So it certainly helps some of the symptoms of those diseases. For example, improvement in sleep as well. I think that's for anyone, whether you're unwell or well. At some
Yeah.
stage, almost everyone's challenged with sleep. Definitely helps with that. And again, it sort of encourages presence, fostering this sense of meaning, connection, balance.
Hmm.
Yeah, lots
So
and lots of benefits
there's an
of it.
endless list. Basically, it's a lot of benefits to meditation, and I like the way
Exactly.
that you've gone through them all and explained how they can help you in your life. And it's not for people who are really unwell, and even if you're really burnt out or stressed, it'll help you. But even if you're happy, healthy, thriving,
Yeah.
I say to people, even if you're 90% happy, you can always get to 99 or 100% happy. There's always little improvements you can make in your life. And I think
That's
meditation is one of the things that it's a free tool. It's a
mm,
very low risk, low effort, and high reward. You just sit there for 5 minutes a day, and it can have compound benefits. So yeah, thank you for sharing all those benefits. It's nice for me to hear them all as well because I know you know a lot of them. Like you're less stressed, you're more self-aware, but the deeper things like how it benefits your sleep, how you're more present with the people around you. It's really important for people to know that. So thank you for sharing. I wanted to ask, do you remember a time where meditations really helped you and it sort of like clicked when you realized, oh, wow, okay, actually, yeah, this is really benefiting my life?
Something you've said has really resonated with me that you can be happy 90% of the time, or significant amount of your life you can spend being really happy. And there's certain rituals that I will have done in my younger days and not actually known that, I was actually quite mindful, or that was meditation. So one of the things that I feel that would have helped me a lot, except I didn't call it meditation, was
Yeah.
probably around the time when I lost my grandmother and I was 14, and I had
Oh, yeah.
various rituals that I had learned through my mother, and one of them was the use of a jop mala. You know what that is? The beads. They're like
Oh, yeah.
meditation beads. And for me it was a form of a prayer, but now it's commonly used for meditation, the meditation.
Hmm.
And I didn't realize at the time that that was something that significantly helped me with just being present with grief and loss. And I think that's I wish I could the grief that I would have felt at the time, and certainly something that I've processed later on in life.
Yeah.
Had I known at the time, that I'm doing certain things and it's to help me with that grief and loss, if it made sense to me in those terms, I think it would have been
Yeah.
beneficial. But I think throughout life, I've had moments where I've implemented certain things that are related to mindfulness and meditation. I just didn't know I was doing it. But
Yeah.
having done it mindfully, as I say, through the theoretical learning, I can, look through all the course material, and I was going, oh my gosh, that's when I did this, or that's when I, did that. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think meditation's always been a part of my life. I just didn't label it as meditation,
Yeah.
certainly mindfulness too. And I think being raised in that way and having had that upbringing has certainly contributed to being more mindful, being more empathetic and compassionate, and being able to be in a role where I could provide some form of support to someone else. So
That's
yeah, really
lovely.
rewarding. That's a very rewarding side of being able to meditate.
That's lovely. I think like you found like your little in Japanese it's called ikigai. It's when you have you heard of ikigai? It's when you find your
Yes,
purpose in life. I
that's
think
it.
you found your purpose with helping like people in the who are really in a state where they really need help, and meditation can help them. So that's lovely. You found that, and it's nice to see as well. And I wanted to. Well, this wasn't one of the questions I had planned, but I wanted to ask a little bit about your mum and the influence she's had on you because I know she's a Reiki master.
Yeah, so she's, after my brother and I left for university, I think it left a bit of a hole, and, she missed us tremendously. So she found an instructor who taught her make Reiki, and then she pursued it to the point where she went to the States and became a master herself. So
Wow.
again, we had a meditation room in our home.
There we go. It all started from your mum when you were younger.
That's it. And she used to do it on a Monday, meditation class, and people used to come in, and I used to sit in sometimes as well. So yes, that certainly had a big influence on me. And just going back to this, yes, you can have an innate tendency towards these things, but you don't necessarily have to. You can
Hmm.
anyone can do it. Anyone can have something dormant within them. And if you love music, you can meditate with music. During
Yeah.
COVID, I'd say my meditation was more walking meditation. That was my go-to meditation because
Yeah.
you didn't really do much else. You didn't have the socializing happening. So It was walking. It was going to the beach, being able to walk and feel the
Oh, it's all
sand.
right for some, isn't it? Just pop into the beach.
I just throw that
If
in.
you, um,
Very
Mira
blessed.
lives in Melbourne. She lives in a lovely little town called the Hampton.
Hampton, yes.
Hampton, I've been there. I visited her 2 years ago, and it is beautiful. So if you've ever thought about going to Melbourne, go because it's like paradise over there. So
It
yeah,
is.
that's nice. You can just go pop to the beach for your little meditation, isn't it?
Very, very blessed. But yes, so the point is that anyone can do it, and there's no getting it wrong. You just have that mindfulness about it, and it's great.
That's lovely to hear. What you just said there, there's no getting it wrong. That's right, because everyone's practice is unique to them. And the idea is not to stop all your thinking and people think you have to sit there in silence with no thoughts. That's not the idea. You're just sitting there, and if you get a thought, you acknowledge it, you notice it, and you let it go slowly, and you let it go without judgment, and then you come back to the present moment. So just touching on there, if people are really interested in this and they think the benefits can help them, what is a simple tip or a practice they can do in their life each day to help them sort of just, yeah, to meditate? What's one tip you've got?
Well, firstly, don't don't look for a guided meditation that's half an hour long. Start off with a 2 to 3 minute meditation that you can. It was a lot of people used to ask me, which one shall we listen to? Can you recommend a guided meditation to listen to? A voice that is soothing for me might be really annoying for you. So
Yeah.
I always recommend just jump on YouTube, Google, type in 3 minute relaxation meditation, and you'll have a whole array pop up, and find one that you just get a good feeling for the sound, the voice, and follow a guided one, and that can be helpful. The key thing is it's the mindset, it's the attitude. The poet Rumi said, he asked, do you make regular visits to yourself?
Oh,
So one of the things that we're so good at is reaching a destination, right? We plan to go somewhere, we plan to do things, we have lists and lists that we plan to tick off and chores to do. One of the meditation experts I love listening to is a lady called Tara Brach in the United States, and she always focuses on how um, again, yeah, we're busy getting everywhere, but when do we arrive back home to ourselves? So it's arriving home to yourself, just whether it's 2 or 3 minutes, you could put it on a timer every day and just say, that's my 3 minutes. I can just sit there in stillness or sit and have a little bit of like soothing meditation music playing, but just give yourself that short amount of time. And as you rightly said, thoughts will come, your mind will wander, and that's okay. Just let it come, let it flow through, because we're not there to judge it, we're not there to fight it. You're just there to say, okay. And the more you do that, the more your body learns, that this is my rest time now. I'm just going to get to
yeah.
switch off to everything. And like you will have experienced, you do it each day, and gradually you build on that. You make it longer. You try all the different types. You can have a visualization one. You could try a body scan, just connecting your mind and body, arriving back to your mind, arriving back to your body.
Yeah, thank you. I really like that. And people might sit there and they might get frustrated that they can't focus and their thoughts are wandering all the time. But what I tell people is it's called meditation practice. So, like anything, when you first play tennis, for example, you're never going to be amazing. It takes practice. The same with meditation. When you first start, your thoughts might be wandering way more. But once you get into a practice and a habit of learning how a system of how to, okay, acknowledge a thought and slowly let it go, you become more present and grounded, and then you naturally become more concentrated. And what you said there is perfect for people who always ask me, "Oh, how do I start?" A short YouTube guided meditation is a good way to kind of learn about meditation, understand what it is, and then once you do that for a few weeks, then you can gradually move up to 10-minute guided meditations on YouTube, and then eventually you'll get to the point where some days you don't want a voice. I got to a point where the voice was distracting me, so I would sit there on my own,
Yeah.
and then I'd do 5 minutes on my own, 10 minutes on my own, and then you build up. And
Yeah.
the reason you build up is because the benefits are so great and they compound. You think, oh, this helped me so much. Why don't I just do this for longer? Then I'll get more benefits, you know?
Yeah.
And it's not about wanting. You don't go to the meditation thinking, you don't sit down thinking, okay, yeah, I want to feel more relaxed. I want to feel better. Those things naturally just come.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've realized that it just throughout your life, things just start happening, things start changing, and it's because you're more present and more aware throughout the whole day, not just during that 5 minutes. You make better decisions like throughout the whole day in every area of your life. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely, Kian. You've hit the nail on the head. I think, there's a difference between having expectation from yourself and going with that and without telling yourself that I should be doing this. This is good for me. Whereas just having that um attitude of I'm showing up here and having an intention. You could perhaps set yourself an intention that,
Yeah.
I would like to invite a sense of relaxation in the next 10 minutes. Have it
Yeah.
be more invitational about it rather than prescriptive and, I expect to feel X, Y, and Z, after 4 minutes. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a bit that. And I love the word practice, what you just said. I watched this lovely TED Talks with this motivational speaker, Shauna Shapiro, and
Yeah.
she had gone through a significant accident. It was very debilitating when she was a young girl, and she went off to, I believe, Bhutan, and she was talking to monks and she was trying to meditate and getting very frustrated with it. And so they had some head monk who had come over from the States, and they suggested she had a chat with him. And when she sat there, she said, "Look, I'm ready to book my flight back home. I've given it a go. I can't do it. I don't want to do it.
Hmm.
When I sat in, this is what happened. When I sat the second day, this is what happened." And he said, "No, you didn't. You didn't practice meditation." She said, "Yes, I did. I did do the meditation." And he said, "I've only got 5 words for you, just the 5 words. And these 5 words have carried me to no end. Those 5 words are what you practice becomes stronger." So he said, "You were not practicing meditation. You were practicing self-judgment,
Yeah.
frustration, irritation. That's what you practice."
That's
And
so
that's what
true. Wow, I like that. What you practice becomes stronger.
it's very powerful.
That is powerful.
Mm.
Because if you keep, I was basically saying, if you have to keep having the same thought over and over again, that thought will become stronger, and then you'll start thinking it's true.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's super powerful. I'm gonna
It
remember
is.
that one. What you practice gets stronger. Wow, I
Becomes.
like that. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. And you shared a lot today. I did want to ask one more question.
Mhm.
It might be a little bit personal, or yeah, you can answer it how you want. But I'd like to know how your meditation and mindfulness has helped the cancer patients you've worked with, and how it's benefited their lives in a difficult situation, difficult state that they are currently in.
I think there was a lot of the benefits that I spoke about earlier are definitely a part of it as well. But it's also a lot of psychological benefits, obviously. So that reduction of anxiety and depression. There's a lot of studies that's been done. And it also in the counseling space, there's MBSR, which is meditation-based stress reduction. So
Hmm.
it's things that, counselors and therapists actually go through with cancer patients to reduce the impact of the cancer treatment, the diagnosis on patients and survivors.
Yeah.
And it's, again, the studies show that compared with control groups, there is a significant lowering in the symptoms of anxiety and depression. So that's definitely one of them. There's reduced stress, emotional distress for people that follow structured mindfulness programs. I ran one in October for an oncology group here with patients. So it's a little bit of everything. It's being able to have a little bit of a discourse, being able to have a theme that patients can think about each time we meet based on all the conversations I had, what is helpful, what makes a difference in terms of helping you to feel better. So nature was a very big one. We
Yeah.
had a whole session that was based around nature and the impact of being outdoors, sitting outdoors, even if you can't do much. A lot of people found a lot of comfort and solace being out in the garden. So again, with all our lives, in the busyness of all our lives, we know that keeping physically active, eating good food and, having a good nutrition, just leading that fully balanced life helps us feel better. So it's
Yeah.
a bit the same with the quality of life and well-being. So managing symptoms of meditation can be helpful. Again, mainly sleep was a big one.
Hmm.
Fatigue, getting over that emotional distress over fatigue, one of the biggest symptoms of cancer treatment. It just, the evidence shows that there's improvement in that in sleep, some of those symptoms, and it just sort of
Yeah.
helps with. And when you feel physically better, you feel emotionally better. So
Yeah, you do.
find that balance, right? Because our emotions impact our physical body and vice versa. So it's trying to find the balance.
Yeah, and our thoughts also impact our psychology and our physiology. So if we're happier, if we're more positive, our body tends to react in a better way. And
Yeah.
whereas if we're of a negative mindset, we're stuck in the same thoughts, our
Mm.
body's going to be a bit more tense, a bit more stressed, and a bit tighter. So I think that's how meditation could also help. And it's it must be a tough job as well because you're seeing people in very vulnerable states. So it's such a lovely thing you're doing to help them. Even just a small thing like meditation, it can help them so much in their lives. So yeah, it's great work you're doing. So please never stop doing stuff like that because it's quite inspiring to see, especially from like a younger generation point of view. It's really nice to see.
Thank you.
I wanted to ask, so of course meditation is great and you can sit there and do it. You can sit even do YouTube guided meditation. What are the other sort of meditation techniques are out there? So I know there's yoga nidra. Have you heard of yoga nidra before?
Yes.
There's yoga nidra. There's the metta meditation, the loving and kindness one. That's really good for cultivating just happiness. On YouTube, you can type in loving and kindness meditation, and it's a 10-minute one, and it's incredible. I
Yes.
said to my friend, if all the world leaders did a loving and kindness meditation for 10 minutes, there would be no wars because everyone would just be so much more peaceful and a lot happier. And I'm not sure how I'd actually implement that, but I think that would be the way to go to get all the world leaders to do a bit of meditation every day. Is there any other techniques that you've come
That's
across? You said another one, sorry, about the NDS.
That's mindfulness based stress reduction. Yeah, that's like in therapy. But and one of the another really big one is, so you have awareness based meditations and you have relaxation based meditations. So
Yeah.
relaxation meditation, you're actively, guiding white light through your body, or you have visualizations and you're actively working to reduce stress points throughout your body. But the body scan is what's really impactful in meditation, that connection between your mind and body. So
Hmm.
typically your meditation should start with a grounding. And by grounding, when you say, can we have an everyday thing to do? Well, this is what you do. You find a comfortable seated position, and you just observe what's around you. Have a look at what you can see. Look at anything that's of interest. What is its color? What is its shape? The texture? Is there light coming through? Really paying attention to what you can see. And then you can move on to your next sense, what you can hear, to the sounds that are around you,
Hmm.
sounds that are closer, the hum of your computer, appliances, to sounds in the distance, the traffic, neighbors, or just really paying attention to sounds. And then moving to the sense of touch, what you're sitting on, the feel of your clothes against your skin. And you gradually, as you do your senses, even if you did that 5 minutes every morning, whilst you've got your cup of tea or coffee, and that is incredibly helpful grounding practice. And it helps you
Thank
to
yes.
anchor you. So when you talk about the mind wandering, you can choose an anchor. You can say, right, when my mind start going, I will bring it back, my attention back to my breath, to just observing my breath. Or you can pick one of your senses. You can pick your sense of sound. What am I hearing?
Yeah. Well, that's super powerful and it's such a little easy thing someone can take away and try for
Yeah.
themselves. Thank you so much. I think you've shared so much of helpful information that can help a lot of people. Um, I have got one more question. I ask it to all my guests. is picture your 5-year-old self in the corner. Just see a little Mira in the corner of the room. What is one piece of advice you'd give to little Mira at 5 years old going back?
I have such beautiful memories of bedtime. This bedtime stories, prayer, gratitude, using the meditation beads. But I don't remember how I started my day. So if I could go back to my 5-year-old self, I'd want her to do some form of mindfulness or meditation first thing in the morning. I
Wow.
don't remember the morning rituals much, but I remember my nighttime, and that's why I always slept like a log because I
Yeah.
had beautiful habits in place to sleep, right? Thanks to my mum. But I
Yeah.
don't. I think mornings are just jumped out of bed and that's it. You're off to school or doing whatever it is you're doing as a child. But if you could start the morning with just a little bit of something about your day, whether it's intention setting or, you know, setting yourself a goal for the day, anything, any kind of mindful moment or that small little meditation, or whatever a 5-year-old can manage. That's what I would do.
I love that. And that's my favorite. Not mad I'm gonna have favorites, but that's my favorite answer someone's given because it resonates well with me. Because I remember when I was going to school, my morning would look like sprinting for the bus and like just
Hey,
about
off.
making it every single time. So if you're starting the day with that amount of stress, you're gonna feel a bit stressed throughout the whole day. So I wish,
Yeah.
yeah, like yourself, I wish I had some sort of practice when I was younger. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I really love that question. So thank you so much. And
Well, thank
this
you.
podcast episode has had so many helpful tips about meditation. And even we spoke about this earlier, but even if 1,000 people watch this, and even if 4 or 5 people actually go away and try meditation, that would be our job well done because we've helped people cultivate a practice that can make their life healthier, happier, and that little bit easier. So thank you so much. And yeah, it's been amazing. And I'm sure we'll have another chat again at some point.
You're very welcome, Ken. And I'd just like to finish by saying I'm so incredibly proud of all that you are doing as well. So, the impact you are having on all your listeners, on all the people that come to you for guidance on all the things that you have learned and you're sharing, it's pretty phenomenal. So, well done to you. And thank you so much
Thank you.
for
It's
inviting.
6:30 a.m. in the morning here in England. I know it's 5 or 6 p.m. there, and that was a lovely message to receive to start the day. So had a great chat, and yeah, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. See you later. Bye bye.